Concept cars are usually wacky-looking, futuristic design experiments that roughly show what kind of direction a manufacturer is heading in many years in the future. But this is different. It's the fully electric Polestar Precept, and it's a concept car that you'll actually be able to buy. We're running through every feature of the new Precept, so keep watching to find out everything you need to know. And if you want lots more new car reveals and reviews, then do subscribe to the channel and don't forget to go to whatcar.com for a great deal on your next car. Okay, so first, what is it? Well, the Precept is a 4-door EV, which is roughly similar in size to a Tesla Model S, but the only dimensions of the car that Polestar have released is the distance between the front and the rear wheels, which is 3.1 meters, and that is massive. It's actually 140 millimeters more than what you get in the Tesla Model S. But it's not just the size of this car that's going to be turning heads. Obviously, it's the design, and it has got a really striking look with loads of features to point out as well. So you've got this mix of matte and gloss black finishes. You've also got LED lights at the back here, which are eventually, on the production version of this car, going to show the charging status of the Precept. You've also got massive 22-inch alloys and rear hinge rear doors here, as well as flush door handles on both sides. And at the front, you've also got cameras instead of door mirrors. You've got LED headlights, which are shaped like Thor's hammer, as they are in Volvos. Now, of course, Volvo is Polestar's parent company. But the Polestar twist here with the Precept is that now you've got two on each side. So the shape does kind of reflect what the Polestar badge looks like. And also at the front of the car, you've got this vent here, which helps channel airflow through the car and just try to make it a bit more efficient as it moves along. You've also got housing for radars and cameras at the front of the car as well. You've got LiDAR sensors housed up here, which along with the sensors at the front of the car give you some driver assist functions like adaptive cruise control for the Precept. But it does seem a bit strange that on this concept car where everything's very sleek and futuristic looking, you've just got this bit kind of plonked on the top and sticking out a bit. So I wonder if in the production version of the car, it might be more subtly integrated into the design. At the back of the Precept, you've got this really striking, massive light bar that runs all the way across the back of it. And perhaps the most concept car thing about the Precept is here, you've got no rear windscreen. So there's no glass, and instead of that, you've got a camera, which is just up here and gives you a live feed of what's out the back straight into the rear view mirror up front. Now, that does a couple of things. From a practicality point of view, it means that the boot, which I can't actually show you on this car, you can fill right up to the roof line and your view out the back won't be impeded at all. It also means that the beam that would run across the roof lining here can be moved much further back because again, you haven't got to worry about visibility out of the rear glass because it's not there at all. So what that does is free up a bit more headroom for passengers in the back, and it's a good job that it does really because I'm just under 6 foot, and if I sit up straight back here, then my head is touching the sunroof. Now, perhaps that will be different with the production version of this car, but judging from this, yes, it's got a sleek, sporty look from the outside, but the low roof lining does mean that if you're very tall, it's not going to be particularly comfortable back here. It's difficult to really assess the legroom available fairly with the Precept because again, it's a concept car, so these front seats can't move at all. But it's not exactly cramped for legroom, there's still a good amount of space, and you've also got a flat floor. It's also quite a low floor. Now in some electric cars, the floors in the back particularly are quite high, so you've got this kind of unnatural sitting position, especially for your knees. But there's no such problem with the Precept. You can also see it's got a 4-seat configuration here, but it might be possible that in the production version of this car that you actually end up with the option of having a 4-seat layout or a 5-seat layout. Now, Polestar is really keen to ram home the message that they're always looking to make the materials that they use from more sustainable sources and be seen as a kind of slightly more eco-friendly automotive manufacturer. So in the Precept, you've got various recycled materials about the place, like recycled cork for these bits of the seats up here. And this is what they're calling a 3D knit, which is made from a single thread of recycled yarn, and it's made in one piece to essentially just cut down on the waste product in the production process. The carpets are also made from recycled fishing nets, and this weird looking stuff here is a flax-based material which has been backlit to give it this kind of gothic look throughout the whole interior. Now, apparently this is 50% lighter and uses 80% less plastic than an equivalent material that you'd find in a more traditional car. And on the outside of the Precept, you've also got a flax-based composite at the front, on the sides and at the back. as a kind of slightly more eco-friendly equivalent to carbon fibre. But away from all the sustainable recycling stuff, in the Precept you've got a similarly minimalist layout as you find in the Polestar 2. So in terms of tech, you've got this 9-inch digital driver display, which is mounted to the steering column here, and it means that if you do move the steering wheel, which you can't on this concept car, you've got a pretty good chance of being able to have a really good visibility of this screen, no matter how you want to sit or where you want to sit. It also runs Google Maps, so it will show you turn-by-turn navigation on the screen there, because Polestar uses its Android-based infotainment system. Now, on the Precept, you can see it's got this massive 15.5-inch touchscreen infotainment system here in this portrait layout. Now, we can't actually show you many new features of this because it's just stuck on this screen here. But what we can show you is one new feature where when you move your hand towards the screen, it changes the layout a bit, brings up more buttons, and then when you take it away again, it gives it a more minimalist and calmer look, which is cool, but you know what we're going to say. When you're driving, it is just much, much safer and easier to have constantly visible, big physical buttons to control all your infotainment and also the air conditioning and climate controls as well. So it's a shame that Polestar seems to be focused solely on this touchscreen solution.
The point to make now is that we don't have any battery, range, charging, performance or pricing information. So sure, this all looks like a nice idea, but we'll only know the true worth of the Precept once we get all the facts and figures and see it in full production form. But Polestar says everything you see on this vehicle is able to make it to the final version. And as for the pricing, it's been suggested that future products are unlikely to push over the upper limit of the Polestar 1, which is good because that costs about £140,000.
Now, if you love how this car looks and you can't wait to get hold of the production version of it, the bad news is that it's going to be at least 3 years before you're able to, because they've actually got to build the factory in China that the Precept is going to be built in first. So quite a long wait, and it means that the only conclusions that we can really draw from this, seeing it in this version, is whether you think it looks cool or not. So tell us in the comments below, would you have the Precept or would you have a Tesla Model S or maybe something else? If you've enjoyed this video, please do subscribe to the channel because we've got loads of other new car reveals, reviews and features going live every single week. And don't forget, if you want to get a great deal on your next car, go to walkaround.com. Thanks for watching.